What's going on, guys? Welcome back to NolanTCG, and we are back here today for another deck profile, and this time it's for Phantom Knights. So with the new hero package coming out, it is a bit more versatile to go into the deck. You don't necessarily need to play Dragoon anymore. You do have like the bricks gone out of your deck. Ultimately, deck's still super consistent, does lots of things, keeps comboing. Weirdly, we're not playing Appaloosa in this build, so that is something you can consider, but we'll get to that at the end. Before we get started, as always, please remember to drop down below and hit that subscribe button if you are new here, though, because we are always happy to have new people on the channel. And we will get into this deck profile. Also, Logan is here, because he recorded this deck profile originally, and we weren't happy with it, so we decided to do it again. Before we do get started on this one, though, it is brought to you, of course, by yourplaymat.com, who got us our beautiful NolanTCG Extra Deck sleeves. These are available on yourplaymat.com, as well as you can get custom sleeves and custom playmats, so whatever you need for the current format. There is an affiliate link in the description down below that does get you a little bit of a discount on your order. Also, enter the code NOLAN10YP for 10% off your order. Also kicks back a little bit to the channel, so everything will be very much appreciated. If you're shopping there, you're getting custom sleeves, custom playmats down. Make sure to enter our code at checkout. But let's get on into this deck profile. Okay, so starting us off with the main deck, we have probably the best card. I guess it's the best card in the deck. It's Torn Scales. Does everything. Not only does it discard, not really a -1 because, hey, it's putting Phantom Knights in the bin and they are good. Card just generally helps you extend, gets you through your entire plays. Really, card's great, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Card very good.
Card very good.
Then we have Mr. Free Extender. It is 3 copies of Silent Boots. Going to be doing your searching. Also, free special summon. Free special summons are good. Especially when we're playing essentially level 3 special summon the deck. Then after that, we go into our Ancient Cloak. This is typically what we're going to be using as a transition piece as we go through. So we've got the 2 copies of Cloak. Going to typically be using it to send. You want to have at least 1 copy in the deck at all times. Another card you can use to send is your Ragged Gloves. Remember, when I say send, all of these are graveyard effects. They obviously don't do that on the field. I'm sure, though, if you're watching this, you are acquainted with the way PK kind of basically functions. And then lastly, we have the 1 copy of Stained Gloves. It does come up from time to time, but you will not find me personally using it in every combo. How often do you normally use gloves?
Gloves? Like
sorry, Stained Greaves.
Stained Greaves? Like once every 20 games.
Yeah, it comes up, so you want to have it in the deck, but it's not super necessary.
I legitimately hate that card.
It is cuttable, if you want to cut it. Then following that up, we have probably the best normal summon in the deck. It makes everything go around, but it does lose to a lot of hand traps. It is 3 copies of Tool Guide from the Underworld. Who would have known all these years later this card's still very, very good.
Ash Blossom.
Yeah, Ash Blossom, Imperm, Veiler, loses to everything but Droll.
Anything.
And then after that, we go into our PK lines. This is what we're typically going to be using around with our Cherubini. Also, we're going to be summoning the stuff off the Tool Guide. We have our 1 copy of Graph and our 1 copy of Seer. There's no real need to play the other Burning Abyss cards. You can just get by with 1 Graph, 1 Seer. If you draw them, who knows, it can be pretty bad. But if you don't draw them, hey, good times, good times. And then after that, we go into our basic level 3 extension packages. So we start off with our Danger package. So we've got 1 Tsuchinoku, 1 Jackalope. Again, can put cards into the bin that are good in the bin, but also still put that level 3 body on board. We have the 1 copy of Psychic Wielder, 1 copy of Psychic Tracker. Again, control level 3, special summon. These are just effectively extenders to get you through to your Cherubini, and your Cherubini makes the whole world go around. Then, even more of them. 1 Junk Forward, control no monster, special summon, still level 3. And 1 Kagamuchi Knight, a chain blocker for your Tool Guide. Anything to say after this? No?
No. You don't
All pretty basic, basic reasonings. And then lastly, we do have the gambling package of the Teratop and Takatomborg.
Yeah, boy!
These do come up from time to time, especially when something like Wind Barrier Statue is a thing. Because you can go into the 2 of them, then get into your Leviair, and then you can kind of hopefully extend past that once you've outed that Barrier Statue. Also, the fact that this can just be special summoned gets around Flundereese and being able to do that. So if they just have the field spell up, you can slap down your Teratop, slap down your Takatomborg, go over into the Leviair, and then just go over the Barrier Statue. And you have it normal summoned, meaning they can't either tribute your shit or get off the... what's the card that they use? I play the deck, I should know. Apex Avian. So they can't summon the Apex Avian in main phase 1.
I mean, if you ask the comment section, do you really play the deck?
Yeah, do I really play the deck? Apparently I don't know how to play the ratios, even though I topped. Sorry, we're on a tangent. We move. Then after that, we go into our Scythe package. So we have the 1 copy of Artifact Scythe sitting in after that. You can move this to your sideboard. I just felt this was the most optimal way to display the deck, given that you can, like, main deck it if you choose to. There are situations, though, where you may go second if you lose the die roll, which the scythe package isn't very good and it can kind of hurt you a little bit. So it is something I would recommend considering moving to the sideboard if you are, let's say, an unlucky person that loses a lot of die rolls. Then lastly, for our monster lineup, we do have our Destiny Hero package. We have the 1 copy of Celestial and the 1 copy of Dasher. You're going to be burning a lot of resources in this deck out of your hand. You can recur some stuff with the PK packages, but really, Celestial's draw 2 will come up more times than it doesn't. And the Dasher play will also come up a lot because we are playing a pretty heavy monster line for all of our cards. Then we go into our spell lineup. We have the 1 Rotor because it is pretty much every card in your deck. Then 1 copy, it's 2 copies of Talents after that. Typically, the reasoning behind Talents is if you're going first, you draw 2 cards. If you're going second, you take. Easiest ways to go. You're going to be breaking boards or building a board, which either effect you're going to be using. Then after that, we have 3 copies of Forbidden Droplets for breaking those big boards. Yeah, generally good card, naturally. That's why we're playing it. And then after that, 3 copies of Fusion Destiny. If you hard draw it, it doesn't matter, so we're playing it at 3 because it gets you that DPE. And then, lastly, 1 copy of Call by the Grave rounds out our spell lineup, just to take care of, like, just general hand traps, not big things like Nibiru or Imperial Order Impermanence. But yeah, takes care of the more basic generic things like the Ash on your tool guide. And then lastly, we go into our trap lineups. We're playing 4, but we aren't playing 3 Fogblade. We just have the 2 copies of Fogblade to start us off, with the 1 copy of Wings, and then 1 copy of Shade Brigadine. That kind of rounds out your PK trap lineup. Okay, next off we have the extra deck. So like I did mention earlier, we aren't playing Appaloosa in this extra deck. That is something you can consider. We will go through our choices and stuff as we go through.
No Appaloosa. This deck list must be shit.
Yeah, no Appaloosa. How else would you stop your opponent going first? It's almost like you just summon Scythe. Appaloosa doesn't really do that much against Flundereese, which is the reason why I haven't chosen it. Given that the Scythe package does a lot against other decks, that's kind of a good way to go. But yeah. Appaloosa against Flundereese doesn't really stop them because they're going to be chain blocking that Appaloosa and it's just going to be stopping the recursions coming back from Banished. But starting us off, of course, we do have our 2 copies, of Phantom Knights of Break Sword. Essentially just your free pop, summons them back. It's an extender and it's a pop. That's the reason why we're playing it at 2. And then after that, for the rest of our 3s, we've got 1 copy of Levier to recur your Banished. Always good when you're going to be recurring all of those resources. 1 copy of Bamboozling Gossip Shadow. If you open up 4 level 3s, it can free summon to the board. Typically, you only need 2 to combo, so the other 2 can go in order Bamboozling Gossip Shadow on your 5th summon to stop the Nibiru. Then we have 1 Downed Magician, because that's going to be transitioning us through into our Zeus. Just making sure we get as much value from the Zeus as possible. Break Sword and Levier, along with, I guess, Bamboozling Gossip Shadow, probably aren't the best rank 3s to be going to Zeus with, because typically you're going to be using a material from them. But in the situations where you don't need to, the whole package comes up pretty well. Then, lastly, for our XEs, we do have the 1 copy of Raiders Knight and the 1 copy of Ark Rebellion, because it is a way that we can push through an OTK out of nowhere. Then, after that, we go into our Link lineups. Like I said earlier, 2 level 3 starts pretty much everything in the deck, and that's because we have Cherubini in the extra deck. 2 level 3s makes it, gets you 3 extension through to your Rusty. But then, next off, we have our other Link 2s. We have 1 copy of Verte Anaconda, mixed up with 1 copy of Link Spider, which I guess is a Link 1, but it is essentially just here as a transition piece to get you through to your Verte Anaconda if you get Nibiru'd, or if you need to clear your Shade Brigadine. Then we have 1 Artifact Dagda for the Scythe package. This is essentially what we're going to be using for most starting boards going first, because it is, just going to soft lock the opponent. 1 copy of, like we mentioned earlier, the Rusty Bardish. If you're not playing it in PK, why are you even playing PK? It's just like the staple that makes the whole thing go round. And then lastly, for our last link, it is a Borrelsword Dragon. You can realistically switch this for any game-ending Link 4. It can be the Appaloosa if you did want to make it Appaloosa, given that you have the access to the Raiders Knight Ark Rebellion package. However, you can also consider an access code. The reason I didn't go with an access code is because you can't use your Rusty as the Link material, so your access code is never really going to get to 5-3, which is why we have the Borrelsword in the main. And also, it does combo off with the last card in the extra deck, the Destroy Phoenix Enforcer, given that it is going to present a lot of damage, and this is something with big attack that can be switched to defense position. But that wraps up here for the deck profile, as always. Please remember, like I said earlier, if you are new, hit that subscribe button. If you are new here, we are on the quest to 5,000 by the end of the year. I think we only need like 60 to go, and we've got a month to do it. So hit the subscribe button if you are new here. And as always, I've been Ben from NolanTCG, with Logan in the background.
I'm going to unsubscribe.
And have a good afternoon, everybody.